Regarding the Second Ku Klux Klan, one of the most notorious incidents, and one with murky details, is the riot between the Klan and Notre Dame students in South Bend, Indiana. South Bend was always a target of the Northern Klan because of its high Catholic and immigrant populations, as well as Notre Dame becoming one of the most well-known Catholic universities in the United States. Also of note is the prominence of Notre Dame's Four Horsemen and the ascent of the university as a football powerhouse, which also coincides with the rise of the Klan. After starting a riot at the University of Dayton the year before, Notre Dame was a natural target. While the riot is fairly well known and often elaborated upon today, projecting Notre Dame as protectors of blacks, and sometimes more accurately as a defense of Catholicism, which is partly true, the true story revolves around contested identity surrounded by the rhetoric of what it means to be a true American in contested spaces, or who has the right to gather and assemble, where and for what reasons. While the Klan tried to become sympathetic to the Protestant residents of South Bend as early as 1921, student journalists at Notre Dame had concern over the Klan, arguing that they were an organization opposed to all principles of free government and civilization, and that their actions should arouse every patriotic American to action and to destroy the invisible empire by popular sentiment. As the planned Klan meeting drew closer, Notre Dame and city officials of South Bend started to become concerned. The mayor of South Bend, Ely Siebert, denied the Klan a parade permit, but could not stop them from gathering in public places. Notre Dame President Bishop Matthew Rush quickly issued a statement in the Notre Dame Bulletin. It has been rumored that the Ku Klux Klan is to hold some sort of gathering in the vicinity of South Bend this evening. There is also a rumor to the effect that there may be a parade of the Klan in South Bend. Similar attempts of the Klan to flaunt its strength has resulted in riotous situations, sometimes in the loss of life. However, aggravating the appearance of the Klan may be, remember that lawlessness begets lawlessness. Young blood and thoughtlessness may consider it a duty to show what a real American thinks of the Klan. There is only one duty that presents itself to Notre Dame men under the circumstances, and that is to ignore whatever demonstration may take place today. It is my wish that the Klan be ignored as they deserve to be ignored, and that the students avoid any occasion of coming into contact. Let the South Bend authorities take care of the situation. There are several things that are worth noting in this text. The most notable to the story is the insistence of peace at all costs. Relatedly, they should be ignored so violence could not escalate. According to Walsh, Americans are rational, willing to peacefully listen to differences, and most importantly, they are tolerant. According to newspaper accounts, the trouble started early Saturday morning when Klansmen in full regalia appeared on street corners to direct their people to the meeting ground at Island Park, giving South Bend its first glimpse of Klansmen in uniform. Klansmen in hoods and robes directed traffic, which would have been difficult to miss by the Notre Dame commuter students who were quickly reported to activities when they arrived for Saturday morning classes. Students quickly amassed and started to march in unison towards the Klan sightings. Nearly 200 students and other local anti-Klan residents surrounded them and proceeded to tear off their hoods and robes. They also roughly handled the few that resisted. The anti-Klan counter-protesters formed either a flying column or a flying wedge, a military strategy designed to smash through enemy lines, and a tactic that was used in football until it was banned because it was caused too many injuries. The wedge moved in unison from corner to corner wherever a white robe appeared. By 11:30 a.m., the Klan was no longer present, having retreated to their headquarters, and the anti-Klan protesters gathered downstairs. A little after noon, the counter-protesters decided to head to the Klan headquarters, which would have been hard to miss with the large red light bulbs that made up the Klan cross just outside the window. About 100 people flocked to the building, stopping all cars that tried to park near the building and taking any additional robes that they found. Others started hurling potatoes and possibly eggs obtained from a nearby store and at the lighted cross, breaking several of the bulbs in, as well as windows. Other people soon joined the student athletes, and after a while, Some Klansmen asked for a truce. 4 anti-Klan counter-protesters soon went upstairs and came to an agreement. The Klan would gather at Island Park, but they would not wear their hoods or carry guns, and the students promised to return to campus. By 3:30 p.m., however, a few hundred people, unsympathetic with the Klan, gathered in and around a local pool hall. The leaders of the group urged everyone to remain calm, but to be on high alert in case there was additional trouble. They decided to reconvene at 6:30 p.m. in an attempt to prevent the Klan from crossing the bridge to Island Park. There were several additional commotions, but nothing significant, and the Klansmen, blaming the rain, called off the event. Sunday was quiet regarding physical violence, but this also gave time for the Klan to try to spin the events in their favor. The Klan newspaper, the Fiery Cross, published articles claiming that Notre Dame students only attacked people that displayed the American flag, and claimed that it was an orchestrated attack on Protestantism. Another article said that the Klansmen did nothing to provoke the riot and were viciously attacked. The Klan also used their influence among other newspapers to help spread their version of the events, and claimed that the police were Catholics and also partially responsible. These were then reprinted in the Fiery Cross with acknowledgement from the original newspaper, giving more credence to the stories. These stories were also quite fanciful to the point of unbelief, including attacks on Notre Dame football players ripping children out of strollers, slapping them on both cheeks, and literally throwing them like a football to their terrified mothers. Classes resumed on Monday, and by that time, several students had started to decorate their dormitories with the regalia that they took on Saturday. Towards the evening, there were reports of crosses being burned on campus and that the Klan kidnapped and was torturing a student. By this time, students have already organized and was patrolling the campus. Around 7 p.m., the Klan relit the lighted cross, and the rumors started to percolate back on campus that the Klan was amassing at their headquarters. Most accounts agree that roughly 500 people, mostly students and athletes, assembled and marched towards the Klan headquarters. This time, however, the Klan was waiting to ambush them, and once the melee started, police officers attacked the crowd and bystanders indiscriminately with their nightsticks. In a little less than an hour, Father Walsh arrived at the courthouse, where he found most of his students and their athletes amassing for a counterattack. With the help of Police Chief Lane, Walsh climbed on top of the Civil War monument and asked for order from the students. Whatever challenge may have been offered tonight to your patriotism, whatever insult may have been offered to your religion, you can show your loyalty to Notre Dame and to South Bend by ignoring all threats. The constituted authorities have only the desire to preserve order and peace and protect everyone. That is their duty. There is no loyalty that is greater than the patriotism of a Notre Dame student. There is no conception of duty higher than which a Notre Dame man holds for his religion or his university. I know that if tonight any of the property of the university or any of its privileges were threatened, and I should call upon you, you would rise to a man to protect it. It is with the same loyalty to Notre Dame that I appeal to you to show you respect for South Bend and the authority of the city by dispersing. And with this widely reported speech that seems to be ripped straight from a novel, the students returned to campus with Father Walsh. Once again, Father Walsh appealed to an American ideal that the students understood and embraced, an Americanism that was starkly different than the one the Klan promoted, but the one that was real to the students present. The following day, Notre Dame football coach Knute Rockne took his turn to address the Notre Dame student body. After comparing the riot to a disorderly football game, he told the student body to obey the president of the university, declaring that Father Walsh is your quarterback, and you are the great Notre Dame team. It is your duty to follow the signals of Father Walsh. Rockne continued, when you do that, you'll be in the right, and it will not be a party to any disorder. Walsh followed Rockne in the assembly, and after acknowledging Coach Rockne for his support, he thanked the student body for listening to him the following day. The combined speeches from Father Walsh and Coach Rockne led to further promises of no more aggression. After the riot, letters from both sides were sent to campus. One letter proclaimed that they were not Catholic and then called the Klan an un-American organization who has a relish in depriving American citizens of their civil and religious rights. They are literally pulling down the pillars of the temple of democracy. One Klan letter clearly shows the dichotomy between the competing definitions of what it meant to be an American. You can thank your lucky stars that you have your buildings intact, for if the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan assembled in South Bend last Saturday had been as lawless as your bunch of anarchist students, they would have wiped the Notre Dame buildings off the earth. You better spend some time in your classes and teaching patriotism and respect for the American flag. Time and again, your bunch of anarchists tore the American flag to bits. I say down with Catholic domination of every kind in America. Sincerely, a Klexer. As can be seen in both the language evoked over the Notre Dame riot and the rhetoric coming from nativist, Catholic, Jewish, and African American organizations, there were clearly various groups seeking to define what it meant to be American in the 1920s. Notre Dame students continued to patrol the campus for several weeks. They never ran into any Klansmen, but they were later proved to be justified in their paranoia. In a 1928 trial, a former high-ranking Klansman testified that they had planned to dynamite the Notre Dame campus. He convinced them that it would be foolhardy and counterproductive to their goals. The Klan and several Roman Catholics during the 1920s had differing conceptions on what it meant to be a modern American. The conception can be seen throughout the rhetoric surrounding the riot in South Bend, Indiana, between the Klansmen and anti-Klan counter-protesters alongside Notre Dame students and student athletes. What started out as a heated debate boiled into violence as rhetoric turned into action during the riot at South Bend, Indiana, between the Klan and Notre Dame students and their anti-Klan allies. This contested Americanism contains clear implications for contemporary society, and thus understanding nativism, identity, and agency matters more today than ever.